The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the host and co-chair of the webinar. My name is Karen Mann, and I have with me my co-host of HD&L webinar, Sadita Hasi. We represent the Human Development and Leadership Division of the American Society for Quality. This is a global division aiming to enrich the personal and professional lives of our members and non-members across the global community. We continuously look for new speakers within the range of our body of knowledge, which can be found in MyASQ HD&L community site. We host monthly webinars, so if you are interested or you know of anyone that would be interested, we would be happy to review their applications. Before we begin the webinar for today, let me go over some webinar rules. If there is any question or comment, please type under question tab and we will answer the questions side by side. The webinar will be held for 45 minutes and then a Q&A is for 15 minutes. Those who attend for 14 minutes will receive 0.1 CEU through an email, which you can then save and use it to claim your credit with ASQ. We're very delighted to introduce to you our guest speaker for tonight and use this hour to reflect on leadership. Dr. Gilberto obtained the PhD from University of Puerto Rico at Rio Pedras. He did postgraduate research at Syracuse University and trained in management and industrial development at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. He was Analytical Services Director for Instituto Dominico, the Tecnological, Industrial, and International Technical Director of the late Sterling Products International. He's currently the Principal Executive of JGC and Associate at a consulting firm located in Dominican Republic. He teaches physical chemistry and quality-related topics at Universidad Nacional Padre, I missed the word, Enrique Reno since 1976. He was honored as Emeritus Professor in 2002. He was in the Board of Directors of Dominican Republican Academia of Science. He has written more than 300 quality management and sciences-related papers, and his book, Simplemente Calidad, Simply Quality, which is in its third edition. We do apologize. We started the webinar 3 to 4 minutes late, and it was because Dr. Gilberto have a fantastic, amazing news to share of an award he just got. So I'll pass it on to Gilberto to share the news and begin the webinar. Floor is all yours, Dr. Gilberto.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. For me, it's a pleasure to be with all of you. Yes, it's a great news. So just today, I have been awarded as the scientific of the year in physical chemistry and related research in my country. So this is a great honor. I knew that I was in the pool, but I was the one that I was awarded. And the one that I enjoy is the one that wins. So I am very glad, and I can share that glad with you. So I am ready, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoy what we are going to do. This is going to drive that. I said, how can you develop a scientific mind? And using my concept of a mathematical brain, and what happened to me after I've been at level where I was with the COVID, and what happened to me after I get off the COVID and I do some experiment with myself, and I want to share with you because this is can happen to anybody. Okay, so we are ready. Here is 11 objectives. I hope since this is the way we start, I hope that I can teach you how to understand the brain in a simple way, function of the brain in a simple way, how to develop the mathematical brain concept, This is being published in our human element. How, at the end, we'll see how this brain concept match with the Einstein brain concept. How can you use the mathematical brain to improve yourself and anybody? And how the COVID modified my mathematical brain and how I did to restore to normal condition. And of course, everything, the final thinking is that seeing the brain function in a simpler way can be a strategy to improve. I have a house in the mountain and I have a peach tree, and this is the time to collect the peach. But last year I collected some peaches. My wife was going to make a sweet from peaches, and I found that all seeds that I have were different. All were different. Okay, and what I say is the same thing is with you. There are not two brains alike in the world. And I'm talking to a few people that you are different, and I hope I can get to you in the same way if I can develop what is the concept of the mathematical brain. In this year, I have been impacted by two concepts. One is in our World Conference of Quality that was celebrated in the way that everything is celebrated all day. And there were two main speakers. And one of them talked about positive psychology. And the main thing about positive psychology is to say thank you and to use gratitude whenever you do. But that concept I heard before from our division by Bruce Gardner, that was the past chair of the Human Development and Leadership Division, that he was talking about this gratitude. And the other was by James Clear, who says, if you want to improve, go step by step. If you improve 1% every day, at the end of the year, you have improved about close to 40%. So, and that is when we are in the quality movement, we know that we have to improve little by little. That is why sometimes re-engineering didn't work, because it was a fast thinking of improvement, but our brain is not prepared for that. From the book, Talent is Overrated, and wrote in 2008, this book, Talent is Overrated. In his book, Colvin says there are four important things. First, you have to have knowledge. You have to train your brain. Second, you need to practice at least 10,000 hours. You know what is 10,000 hours? This is about 10 years. Suppose that you practice every day 3 hours for the days, 300 days a week is close to 1,000. And then you need 10 years. And I don't think that you can wait all that to improve. The other is you have to know yourself and your people. And the last one, and not the least, you have to use your heart. You have to have passion. I will try to tell you that the most important of those two things is the knowledge and passion. And this is my model. Usually I use the two concepts, attitude and aptitude. One is related to what is emotional intelligence and intellectual intelligence. Here, I have been developing things, and I talk in a very scientific way, and I will explain that to you later. And I introduce here a word, is symmetry. Do we have the permitted symmetry in order to reach our potential success? And permitted symmetry is a thing that we call doing science is that you have to go step by step. And I'm going to explain that, what is that step by step, in order to have higher possibility. The others are, but the possibility is lower. In here, I want to do today a dynamic video. We have a lot of people, and I want you to see those, what I call the 4P. Knowledge is power, it's your power, okay? It's your brain. Okay, knowledge, persistent, passion, and passion. The 4 words are important, but I want you to pick 2 of them. And pick up a number. We're going to make a dynamic now. And 1, 2, 3, 4, let me say here. Okay, that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Knowledge and passion, power and passion, knowledge and passion, persistent and passion, and so on. And I want you to vote. Now we're going to do a dynamic. In here, you are going to go to this. Just click on that, put this code, and a spool is coming out, and you're going to select one number. Okay? And in here, it says what are the numbers. I'm going to give you 1 minute because I have somebody in Mexico. I am in the Dominican Republic, who is going to collect all the votes. Okay? Well, by this time, everybody has chosen a number. So I'm going to keep going. They're going to tell me that. And in here, what you did was more or less answer me this question. When I am in front of the public, usually I say, what do you see here? Usually people told me, oh, it's a nice picture. But when somebody comes, oh, but I see the reflect. Oh, you are seeing the symmetry. If you are seeing the symmetry, you are in the right place here, because this is something that I'm going to talk for the rest of your life. Symmetry. You have to understand everything in 2 ways. If you can understand in 2 ways, you will be ready to improve easier. I'm going to show you how people with a lot of success use this symmetry.
Gilberto, I think I have the results if you want that I share with you.
Okay, thank you very much. Just tell us so the people here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Number 1.
Okay, number 1 is 27%.
Uh-huh.
Number 2 is 9%.
Uh-huh.
Number 3, 36%.
Wow, 56 or 66?
No, 36.
56, okay.
Number 4, 0.
Okay.
Number 5, 18%. 18.
Mm-hmm.
And number 6, 9%.
9%. Thank you very much. Oh, that is great. That is fantastic from this group. You pick number 3 as close to 60%. That was power and passion. And everything, let me tell you something. I prefer probably stop here and say, oh, you are a group of winners, but we have to pick up the others one. I'm going to show why power and passion are the most important. It's great. It's the first time that I have such a nice group with me. Okay, my congratulations. Whenever you are in the world, 60% have a high potential of success. I'm going to put the other to increase that. Okay, but I was talking about this symmetry. I was in Ecuador, 2010, something like that, and they took me to the Equator line. After I did a seminar, I was a keynote speaker, and they took me to I was there. But they told me this is not the equator line. 80 meters, and then I went to this monument, and inside there they told me, hey, this is not the equator line. They took me here, the Tintawa Museum. In there, I was in the middle of the equator. So a lady came with, and said, how you won't believe? You will believe in me that I was in the equator. She brought this sink, put the water, uncap it, and the water was coming down just like a shower. She moved 1 foot to the north, and the water, it has this leaf, you will see here. Here, the leaf stayed, didn't move. Here, this leaf moved counterclockwise. Then he ran the experiment to the south, 1 foot to the south, and the water was coming clockwise. How you believe that? I understand. I just say, I was screaming because nobody said, "Oh my God, I can now explain that," because in science, and I am a physical chemistry, this is a spin of 1/2, and spin. The electrons have two kinds of spin, plus 1/2 and minus 1/2. And what they told me, 1/2 is moving one side, minus 1/2 is moving to the other side. But now I can see it, and I say, look, if that happened in the middle of the world, if that happened to the electrons, okay, in chemistry, that same thing happened in the universe. So the brain is not different. And from that, I start talking about the brain. And everybody knows about this. And you remember the seeds of that I show you? There are not two equal, or one. If you cut the seed in two, one is different to the other. The same thing happened here. And everybody, I don't know going to that because everybody have in this group have heard about this. But the thing is that the two hemispheres are attached by this, that is Corpus Callosum. And the Corpus Callosum have been well studied, but in 2003, Gotfried Schlaug from Harvard found that in musicians, the Corpus Callosum was 25 bigger than the normal one. He again did the experiment with kids. And if you practice, kids in between 8 to 12 years, they practice any instrument. Usually they use a piano and violin. You can find that kids develop faster and have a big corpus callosum. And that is important because in the corpus callosum is where there is the biggest concentration of neurons, and the wave passes from one side to the other. And the bigger it is, the faster it can go. And in this way of success, we are talking fast thinking. Also, you understand that the brain have a 4 level of energy, where the one is when you are resting. The second one, when you are relaxing, but it's a deep relaxation, and I call that the management mood, because it's the way to solve problem. And the third one, the alpha, is when you start to become more motivated, and I call that the leadership emotion. And the last, and not least, but the last is the stress one. Is when you are awake, you are alert, but when you are stressed, okay, it is stressful. But it's a combination. The brain, the energy in the brain is a combination of those four states. And in my, here I'm going to have a summary of more or less all of this, because when I wrote in 1998 what is called a trip to the deep sea, that my editor changed, was when I talked about dynamic intelligence. What they changed, they told me, they changed the title because from that was better to people to go and read the paper if I talk about dynamic intelligence, but that if I use a trip to the deep sea, they will go easier. And in here, I explain all those four states. Okay, there is a term of multiple intelligence of Howard Gardner. He says there are 8 types of intelligence. So I divided that in and put it in 4. But I say, look, there are 4 types of intelligence: analytical, practical, social, and creative. And if you go to the other, and this is science, this is the same that I am explaining, and that's attitude and aptitude. And if you go to this one, you say, look, red, yellow, blue, and green. This is and here are the basic color and how they match. They have to match in that, because this is one is the opposite of this, and this is the opposite of this, blue. And in the computer, the language of a computer is a binary language, 0 and 1. You have to go from 0, 0. If you have 2 states, 0, 1, 1, 1, and 1, 0. And from you can see here that is the step changing it from 1. If you go in this way, okay, this is what I say non-permitted or lower possibility, but in this way is higher permitted. Also, right, choose 3 are in here, analytical and creative, and that is what I have a pattern, and I use a system. I call it a system of dynamic evaluation, where I choose 4 words, okay, and you pick out words that are analytical, practical, social, and creative, more or less what you did only once, but here many times, and then I can see the way you are using your thinking and the symmetry in your thinking. And the results usually are like this. If you are like too analytical, I'd say this is the traditional way. This is the practical, when you are analytical and practical. And this is when you have all 4. But these four levels, there are molecules that we use. There are 4 energy levels. And when you do all the calculation of the molecular orbital symmetries, they give you more or less these values. And this is the most important, the entrepreneurial one, where you have more or less a 30% analytical, 20% practical, social, and 30% analytical and creative. And you see it, this is usually the front part of the brain. I think this is a topic for me to be talking for months. And in here, when you make calculation, I can do the energy, and I call the velocity. I say, look, if you are in here, you are using very fast velocity pace. And you'll see why. And this is, those are, that show 3. Here you are, my friends. And I hope that everybody understands this is a knowledge and passion state. Okay, the entrepreneur one, and this is the leader ones. And in this one, this combination, if you added the 2 together, give you this one. This is the management, and this is the leadership. You see, I'm talking about molecular orbiter, energy values. This is not a presentation for that. I have to be moving. And once I have the opportunity to to analyze some chess players from the world that were here in the Dominican Republic, and I two choices. The first choice is usually the leadership, and this is in management. In the management condition, that they have the entrepreneur, and in here again, it is the entrepreneur, and you can see that the points are here in between, in the front. In sport, I have a lot of things. I was when it was the Chinese Olympic Games, I was able to train, and I used to train. This is me, okay? I don't see me. This is me and this is the Dominican team. And I analyzed them because I trained, and I found that all of them were number 3, power and passion. This one was in the middle, but this one was in the higher. This one was the one that won the only from this America that won a gold medal. This is a gold medalist. And he has been fighting with his weight, and he haven't been able to get for a world championship fight, but he's supposed to fight for a world champion. But this one, when he came, he told me, "Doctor, I am frustrated. I didn't win anything. I'm going to retire." I said, told him, "You are the best brain, my friend. Go to the pro." He went to the pro. He won a championship, world championship, defended about 5 times. I like that. The thing in the boxer is that they're hitting the brain, and you just work. But this is, you have what I say, look, I train like a boxer. I don't box, or I train like a boxer, because this is a nice way to improve your brain. Then I did this presentation, the one up to here. I did this presentation, and didn't know I was in Mexico in a world conference of academic of science, and they told me, "You have 4 minutes to do your presentation." And I did the presentation that you just saw, 4 minutes. I didn't know that this man was a Nobel Prize. He was in front, and when I finished in 4 minutes, he gave me the, the positive inside, when you say with your finger, and then he crossed, give me his blessing. I didn't know. But let me tell you, after that, we were together like father, son, and father. I dedicate all my presentation this year to this man. It was a Nobel Prize, Physics Nobel Prize in 1996, Dr. Leo Lederman. But he wrote a book that went after about 4 months of my presentation. And I have this graphic, and he put that graphic in his book. His book is called The Symmetry and the Beautiful Universe. How you like? That is what I say, look, things happen inside the earth, happen in the universe. The same thing have to happen in the brain. Then I went, okay, let me know, to show you what I'm saying, I start doing electroencephalography. And when I took this encephalograph in our lab, and then I started doing some exercise. One was jumping, I was doing push-ups. And let's see, this is when I start doing my exercise. Let's go to this route. Okay, look, first level, second level. Usually the first level stay like that, but then a lot of, in the second level, when I keep going, third level, in the last one, all for where, so I have energy in the 4th level. Well, no, now you know that doing that is impossible. You cannot stay in the brain, but like that, it's just for a few minutes, because then you cannot do exercise 24 hours a day. So I decided, okay, I did it normally, and I found that usually this is a normal one. I found that that is what I call the equator line, that in the brain, the interesting part, and all that I have done of the sociophilic vehicle, they are in here, in between the equator line. Again, I did this, took the experiment in another position, and here is doing exercise. You see? And in here, I was now telling the mathematical series. And if you can see here is more or less the figures that you saw before. Okay, don't you see the first one, the fourth one in between, and this is the, when I say the mathematical series, how it is, and say, look, then I was able in 2018, I went to the World Congress, the World Congress of Quality Improvement that was in Seattle, and I met this lady. She was a keynote speaker. She says, oh, I discovered the concept of 5, 4, 3, 1. And when you say 5, 4, 3, 1, decide what you want to do right now. Say, look, that's very interesting, very interesting. And I say, look, you can see 5 minus 4 equals 3. Everybody will say no. Because if you know a little bit of mathematics, know that 5 squared minus 4 squared is equal to 3 squared. 25 minus 16 equal to 9. So I say, oh, and I wrote that about 26 years ago. But also, this is the same Pythagoras theorem that have more than 2,500 years. I have a new electroencephalograph that now that I can give me, instead of what you see, they can give me these behaviors: stress, engagement, interest, relaxation, focus, and excitement. Here is the graphics, but interesting is that it gives me number. And for us, quality people, management and leader, what you want is number, not just figures. In those figures that I showed you before, there is a lot of numbers, but in here, let's concentrate on this. This is giving me figures, okay? So, the first thing was, let's try to see what happened when I say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and when I say 5 minus 4, we call 3. And this is all numbers. I don't want you to see all those numbers. There's a lot of numbers. But I also, I say focus is a combination of analytical and creative in the front. This is practical. The interest is social and creative. And you pick up those numbers. So then I say, look, seeing those numbers, I did this other series. This is square. These are cube number, and this is the prime numbers. And they found that there is something very interesting. You don't see it, but now you are going to see it. That those engagement, analytical and practical, and social and creative, are the two towers, more or less, that give you, when we're talking in the left and the right hemisphere, those are the biggest number. And we found then that engagement and interest were the bigger. From that, I developed the mathematical brain. Are the same: focus, excitement, stress, relaxation. In here, put engagement and interest. And start talking. Then somebody in our division told me, Gilberto, you know about Fibonacci? Okay, this is a series that goes in this way: 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. It's a scientific series. And I did the electroencephalograph. And in the beginning, look those numbers. I was crazy. I said, what? That destroyed my mathematical brain. But after the fourth round, the numbers was exactly match the mathematical brain. So I said, look, my brain was not prepared. I have to prepare my brain to understand the Fibonacci series, the mathematical brain. And that is what I call the learning brain. You have to practice, practice, practice until your brain get into the mathematical concept, and then you go and do whatever you want. I practice every day, even today in the morning. Then, we know that we have the COVID thing, and after I explained it, I have a mind one, okay? I couldn't handle it in my home, my wife and me, but I spent a week doing nothing, just trying to get out of there, of this COVID, and don't let it get into my lungs. And when I came directly to my office at home. I took my electroencephalogram and said, let's see what happened to my brain. And when I did, like in the Fibonacci series, but now the easiest one, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 3 times, look the numbers. I do the next 5 times, the mathematical brain. Here, engagement, interest, you see, wow. Then I keep doing the others, and my brain was now stabilized. And that's what I said, look, then again, this is my mathematical brain concept. Todavía is not the final model, you will see something. But I say, well, when you do reading, when you are doing some mathematics, doing management and leadership, you are seeing your numbers, what happened is that your engagement increase. When you're doing exercise, hearing some music, it's the interest that increase. But when you do the mathematical series, those two, the interest and the engagement are the one that increase. And now the term aptitude and attitude, instead of put it in X and Y, I put it in the same direction and as the hemisphere. This is all the thing that you in here is the mathematical series, and this is number 3, knowledge and passion. Now, I said, look, I am a Einstein brain fanatic. And then I start doing I start studying again the Einstein brain. Look, Einstein was dyslexic as a child. He learned to play the violin, the rest. Many dyslexic people gain normal condition since the corpus callosum get back to normal. Einstein corpus callosum was bigger than normal, one thing, okay? They were finding some brain cortex fixture welded, but that was not enough. What they found was that the number of glial cells, that is associated cells, in some places were 50% bigger than normal. As a consequence, this is the astrocytes, the glial cells. Okay? What they do is they attach to neurons and make the neuron move, the neurotransmitter that goes through here, move faster. the velocity of neurotransmitter flow may increase due to the presence of associated salts. Okay? And from that, it looks like it's the same thing as the mathematical brain, and it's in the plasticity. Okay? I know that was here. It's in this way where you want the neurotransmitter move faster, because if they move faster and move symmetrically, and I have done all this study, all my quantum mechanics study done. However, this is not the webinar to do that. This has to be another webinar. Okay? Then everybody knows that Einstein was not a good student. He was not when he finished his PhD, the university didn't leave him as a professor. You have to go to the patent, and was by the time when the plasticity increased, where the CC get back to normal, and he got all those ideas. Right? And from that, I want to say, look, I want to leave you with some. So you have to get more knowledge every day. Seeing all that, now on the COVID thing, I want to give you these 4 concepts. Usually I use 4 concepts because it's solid, liquid, gas, fire, whatever it is. And say, you have to get more knowledge every day. That is your power, little by little. You have to be constantly curious. Not many people are curious. That is very important. This is your passion. And is where this group is lower. You have to have more passion, my friend. This is what I found there are those that didn't write 3. I'm talking about you guys. You have to have more knowledge and more passion. You have to be persistent, yes, every day, because you know this is a total quality. You have to be improving every time, and do your measurement for that. And of course, you have to be grateful for all who help you to improve, and that is what I call the passion. Because when they say somebody, thank you, it's not that you're going to move slower. It's that you're going to get the curiosity way, the passion and power way, that is the way of the ideas and creativity. Let me get back. You have to get more knowledge every day. Very simple. You have to be constantly curious. You have to be persistent. You have to get grateful of all who help you. Nobody who is a child, an old man, old lady, whatever it is, always say thank you. And I hope that from the beginning that I was able to give you the idea that I wanted. Huh? Understand brain functioning from a simple way to a total way. Huh? Total way is the mathematical. How to develop the mathematical brain concept. How can you? Now I'm going to tell you something. How can you use it? Whenever you have need to mold your brain for success, pick up any series, 5, 3, 2, 1, 4 minus 3, 5 minus 4 equals 3, 2, 4, 8, whatever it is. It's just a matter of 5 numbers, okay, in a series. Simple one. Something that I haven't said, I'm going to say here for the first time. I found if I do the series of 5, 25, 125, 60, 25, 1,125, 10,625. The brain doesn't get the mathematical brain. Those are numbers. This is the first time I say it, because in my next research I'm going to find what are the series numbers that the brain can handle to give you the mathematical brain model. But that will take time. That will be our topic for the next seminar, when I hope you to have you there. Okay, but I do it when I wake up and I need to keep going to sleep. I say, look, I want to sleep, and tell my brain, I want to sleep. I want to sleep. 5 minus 3, 5 minus 4 equals 0. 5, 4, 3, 1, 0, or 2, 4, 8, whatever it is. And when I wake up, almost it's time to wake up. It gives me two hours of deep sleep. Then I go to the bathroom, then come back and keep sleeping. You can do that. And now I'm teaching all my students, everybody, if you can use this concept, whenever you're going to do anything, try to mold your brain to have the mathematical model, and things will be easier. Okay? I talk a little bit about Einstein brain, and I talk about what happened to my COVID, that in the beginning I was not functioning with my mathematical brain concept, that I have to do some practice in order to get back. Suppose those that, and I was on a level, didn't have too much of the COVID, I would say, but suppose every other people that got the COVID. And I know there is a lot of publication that there are brain damage. How can you restore that? That might be a good exercise to get back to normal function. And seeing the brain functioning in a simpler way can be the strategy for improvement. No difficult ideas, very simple ideas. And now I want to get back and do again the pool. I want you to ask you to go down to the same place. This is now the code, and please vote.
If Rosa can go, thank you so much, Gilberto. We have only like around 7 to 10 minutes left. If Rosa can go ahead with the poll.
Don't worry. They are voting. Then you will give me.
Yeah, so in the meantime, as they're voting, please also, if you have any questions, start already logging those in under the question tab. There is a lot of great information here. So, and I see a lot of research work, which some of us have a hard time understanding the numbers behind. So to turn it into a takeaway for people at the personal level, at the leadership level, you mentioned the exercising portion. Are you saying, recommending the 5 series number how many times? Like, is there any specific number of times? And is there specific...
Yes, the number of times you have to do it, it depends. Probably in the beginning you have to stay for 1 minute.
Okay.
And then stay 1 minute.
Please go back to the slide with the code for the people to vote.
So stay at that.
You have the numbers?
You need to go back.
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll go back.
Thank you.
Yes, please go to menti.com. There is no poll in the system. You need to go to that website because there is more options that the system will allow. And type in the code 820076. And make your choice. It's the same poll you had at the beginning, but it is supposed to show an impact of the webinar on you as we are right now. So it will be interesting to compare the results and see how that went. And once you do that, please, if you have any specific question, we'll be moderating the questions here since we already started. And Gilberto, if you can finish you said about a minute to, let's say, 6, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, and then you continue 6, 5, 3, 2, 1.
What I do is I spend 1 minute, then do it another minute, and I do it for about, when I start doing exercise, but then you can do it for 2 to 5 minutes. You know, in 1 minute lap, then you rest 1 minute, then you go. I do it myself now. You know how many times? 3 or 4 times.
Does it matter how difficult is the series? Because saying 6, 5, 3, 2, 1 is much easier than saying, I don't know, 50 to 0.
It depends in the creativity of anybody, okay? Because remember, all brains are different. Not everybody likes 5, 4, 1, 2, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or 5 minus 4 equals 3, or 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, or you go to 3, whatever it is. Anybody can use those numbers, or 5-1. I like 5-1.
So does it have to be a number?
Yeah, it have to be numbers. You have to be numbers. Up to now, you have to be numbers and simple numbers.
I know you're very much of an expert on this type of things, and I recently read about neurofeedback strategy that people use for even adult ADHD lately, and it helps with the focus and attention and relaxation. How is that impacted by placebo effect? Like, do you think that the person knowing that I'm exercising on it, it actually makes them a little bit more focused and a little bit more calm unconsciously? Just because they know they're doing it, they're aware of it? Or do you think the brain just improves itself just by doing this?
Thank you very much. What I do is, and I'm going to do you by my experiments. First to start, that is something, thank you very much. What I do is, before doing all that, relax for a couple of minutes, okay? And you won't believe, when you relax, you get the mathematical brain. But you cannot be relaxed, because when we are in leadership, management, or doing whatever it is, we are moving. But when you relax, and you know how to relax, you get more or less the mathematical brain concept.
Has it been tested? Like how much the fact that you are actually consciously stopping, it's like doing meditation versus just like...
Everybody is different, okay? And that is something that everybody have to find a way. What is your way? What is your seed of the fruit that I show you? Everybody is different. For somebody it might be 2 minutes, 3 minutes, but what I call is those that says power and passion, that might be faster. That might be faster. That is a velocity, because when I talk about the velocity of brain, the symmetry in brain, power and passion is the faster way. So if you use the brain in a faster way, then you need less time. And that is something that I want everybody to understand, that if you are in a position transversal, then you need more time, because the first thing you have to do is put your brain in a relaxed way, that more or less, remember that you have the 4 energy of the brain acting. This is a binary combination.
So how can people find out, because I saw you on your graphs, there is a couple of factors, not factors, like some need to improve the stress level, some focus, engagement. How do they know what, or where can they get information to assess themselves? Otherwise they would go to psychologists. I don't know how else to find out which one works for them.
All of our psychology tests, and mine is, I have the patent on that. You can find that in my paper that was wrote in 2006, Symmetry in Leadership and Management. Symmetry in Leadership and Management, they are all put in the ResearchGate, where I explain how you get those numbers. And what I do is I have a system. I can send you the
link, maybe you can share with them.
And you get it back to me. I give you the plot, how you think, and what is your, more important, what is your symmetry. And if your symmetry is very slow thinking, the first thing that I took, you have to move to a fast way of thinking. And that is why you have to use the mathematical brain.
Okay, so if there is any links that people can, like a tool that people can assess themselves, I can include that in the presentation when we post it. Maybe they can see it
not
there.
here, not here, but you have if anybody is interested, you got my email. Send me an email.
Okay.
That
if you have an email.
If you need it, I have the results now.
Perfect. Yes, we don't have more time, so let's do that.
Okay. In the number one, the results are 14%. Number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, 21%.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, 43%.
Mm-hmm.
Number four, 7%. Mm-hmm. Number five, 7%. Mm-hmm. And number 6, 7%.
Great.
Thank you, Rosa.
Oh, you're welcome.
Very interesting. 63, yes.
So is there any difference you notice? So we can
yeah, there is a difference. I'm going to make from that. It's not easy. I have to make a radar graphics using intelligences. And I show that it's an improvement. And I really like what I found.
What do you like? Gilberto, tell us. We need to close, so it'll be interesting to see which of those specific numbers actually went higher or lower.
What I'm going to do, those that write me, not today, but I send it back the radar graphic and say, look how we changed.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I cannot talk about one person. I can talk about the whole group.
Over whole group. Yes.
What I do is I go to any industry that ask me for help, especially with leaders and management, and I told them how to think in the mathematical way. Before I don't use the concept mathematical thinking. Now I am using this new concept, because it's easy to understand.
So is there any of these 6 numbers that increased by a lot of difference from the beginning of the webinar? So the audience
let me tell you, what I said is you improve the way of permitted thinking.
Permitted thinking?
That's what I can say. The permitted thinking increases.
What does that mean?
Oh, that you are in a position of you remember 0001?
Yes.
Those that are moving like in the equator and not transversal, because the transversal number is lower. It lower. Before was higher. That's the thing that I can say right now. There is a change, a very nice change in the seminar in Spanish. Let me tell you, the seminar in Spanish was quite different.
Okay.
Because the power and passion was small, very small, and here it's very big. So I'm talking to very interesting people.
It's a cultural thing, maybe as well. You know that you in the US, so so let's. I know these topics are especially because there is so much research behind. But one of the attendees actually was nice enough to share the link in ResearchGate. I shared that with everyone, and they can go and research that and reach out to you even more if they are interested in it. And I thank you so much, Gilberto. I know you have been delivering for 2 months now, so in Spanish and in English. And we thank everybody who has been joining us today, Rosa as well from Latin America, for making this happen in both webinars. So thank you so much, Rosa and Kieran, for being with here tonight. So we'd like to let everyone know that the presentation and the recording will be, as usual, posted on my AS2 community website, as well as on our YouTube channel within this week. We will get you a notification of future webinars on our LinkedIn page, but also the upcoming webinar, which is actually in September 2nd. We'll talk about leadership, but from an exponential times. We're going through a lot of change, but also fast change. So we need to know how leadership needs to be seen from a different sort of lenses. And that will be very interesting to have as a guest speaker Jaroslav Dokupil, and they talk a lot about exponential organization. So it'll be interesting to get a feedback from that area as well. We have 1 minute survey. You will receive it as soon as we close this webinar. And also the credits. For those who has been with us for 40 minutes minimum, you'll receive from me an email. I'll be sending that separate. So it's not the same email as the automatic thank you email. It will be a separate email, and I'll be sending to those who have been here for 40 minutes. Thank you so much, everyone, and we look forward to having you on our next webinar. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.